I'm baffled by what I saw, folks. I'm never like this, but I'm literally at the point where I don't even want to do a review for this. Because that's just how infuriated I am with this movie right now. I can't even fathom the fact that this is a movie. That this was actually made, and the fact that a studio was like, this is good, and let's make it. But you know what? This is what I do. I review movies. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to, talk about the movies that you people want me to talk about, and you want me to talk about this movie. So let's just do it. Let's just review whatever this thing is. Hey, what's up, you guys? Film fan 0599 here again. Today, we're going to review Mother. So Mother stars Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem, and what the film is basically about is when, Javier Bardem, he lets Ed Harris into his and Jennifer Lawrence's house, and, everything seems fine until Michelle Pfeiffer, Ed Harris's wife, comes in, stays with them as well, and then some crazy stuff just starts to happen from then on, and listen, okay, I made a bold statement back in June of this year that there was going to be nothing that was going to be worse than Transformers The Last Night. I made that pretty clear, and I did say if there was a movie that was worse than Transformers The Last Night, we were in for a doozy. We were in for Judgment Day, and folks, it is today. Today is Judgment Day because we have found a movie that is worse than Transformers The Last Night, and it is Mother. I'm not even going to, just jumping straight into it. This movie is a hot, steaming pile of garbage. This is dog crap at its finest. This movie is the most pretentious thing I have ever seen in my entire life. I cannot believe that Paramount Studios, very, very famous company, the company has done some great movies, that the fact that they thought that this movie was any good, they thought that this was a good script, that they thought that this was a good direction to go in, they thought with this movie, I can't. This movie is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. This movie is beyond atrocious. Beyond it. I can't even describe what this is. And no, it's not art. Far from it. Okay? Far from it. This is awful. This is just beyond terrible, this movie. I could not believe how just atrocious this is. And this is coming from someone that is a fantastic director. Darren Aronofsky has done some great things. Requiem for a Dream, The Wrestler, Noah. He's done some great things, even though I haven't seen the movie, but I've heard great things about it. Black Swan. This dude knows how to make great movies. And then, I do not listen. So, you know what? Let's just get to a little bit of the backstory with this movie. Apparently, Darren Aronofsky was mad at the world, and he wanted to make something that showed his anger towards the world and show his anger towards it. So he wrote a script in 5 days, which it really shows he wrote it in 5 days with this movie, and he just made this. From the moment this movie started, I had a bad feeling about it. And it just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse at it as it went on. I'm just baffled. Like, this was that bad. This was that awful. Let's just, enough of me rambling, let's just get on to why I think This is so atrocious. Let's just get into it. You really think that you really think I have positives with this movie? You think I have a positive with this film? No, 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 no. Zillow. Zillow positives. Zillow. Okay? Negatives. Negatives with this movie. The acting. The acting is beyond atrocious in this movie. Everyone is a dang cartoon in this movie. Everyone is terrible. Jennifer Lawrence gives the worst performance she has ever done in her entire career. All she is there for is just to yell, to scream, and act like a robot. That is all that she is there for. Nothing more, nothing less. And she's atrocious. She is awful in this movie. I couldn't stand her in the film. I couldn't stand her character. She was awful. This is by far, like I said, I thought nothing could be worse than her performance in House at the End of the Street. But, yeah, this movie beat it by a landslide. She is awful. She's terrible, and some people are giving her praise for this performance. Should be nominated for an Oscar. The thing that she should be nominated for this movie is a Razzie. That's the only thing she should be nominated for this film. She is awful. This is honestly probably the worst actress performance, the worst leading actress performance I've seen all year. She was so bad. Wow. And she's a great actress. You guys know, I love her. She's a great actress. She's done great things, but holy cow, is she bad in this. Harvey Bardem, who, I will say this, doesn't give the worst performance in the movie, but he wasn't necessarily good either. I didn't really think his performance was all that special either. He was just kind of bland to me. Like, I just really thought his performance was very bland. He's definitely by far the least worst out of everybody, but still doesn't mean really his performance is all that good. And his character is just really terrible as well. I couldn't stand his character either, but his acting performance was just bland. It was alright, like, it was fine, I guess. Definitely not the worst out of everybody, but definitely the dude could have done better, because I know this guy is a great actor too. I've seen him in great things. He's done great performances, but he's just not good in this movie either. Ed Harris is awful. I couldn't stand him in the movie either. And Ed Harris is great too. Ed Harris is a fantastic actor. But my God almighty, is he not good in this movie. Same goes with Michelle Pfeiffer, who might be my least favorite character. Either her or Jennifer Lawrence are like my least favorite characters in the entire film. She's so obnoxious, Michelle Pfeiffer, in this film. She is so obnoxious. And I hated her character as well. I wanted her to go away. I was like, just leave already. And Michelle Pfeiffer's a great actress too. She's really great. But I cannot believe, like, she is horrendous. And everyone else is terrible too. Donald Gleason shows up in this movie, and his performance is so over the top that I couldn't take him seriously. And I just saw this guy in American Made, and he was great in that. But here, he's not in it that much, but when he's in it, he's awful. Like, he is so over the top that it's just so hard to watch. The acting is just atrocious in this movie. Just everybody is just beyond terrible in this film. Everyone gives such a lame and cartoonish performance in this movie. Remember what I said earlier, that this is probably the most pretentious thing I've ever seen in my life? Literally, all of the metaphorical type of things that they try to do with this movie, it's so metaphor heavy. That's all this movie relies on. That is literally the only thing that this movie relies on, is just metaphors. That's it. And, like, it's so bad. Like, it is the most metaphorical, pretentious thing I have ever seen in my life. A24, please forgive me for my sins. Please forgive me. Like, seriously, I need, please, because I owe an apology to you. I owe an apology to you, A24, because I thought you were metaphorical. No. This movie makes every single A24 movie look like a masterpiece. I'm dead serious. This movie is worse than any metaphorical thing I have ever seen. Literally. This is just baffling to watch. And before you say I didn't get it, I understood what they were trying to do with this movie. Literally. And Okay, I guess spoiler because they really hide it from all the trust. Plus, the marketing was awful for this movie. The marketing was absolutely terrible. They marketed this as like a horror movie, and it's not. It's not that at all. And okay, so this is kind of a spoiler. So, what they do with if you haven't seen the movie, please don't even see it. But if you do, just spoilers. This movie is basically recreating the Bible. That's exactly what they're doing. From a lot of things, to the baby Jesus, to Mother Mary, to God, to Cain and Abel. Like, they literally are just recreating the Bible. Literally, that is the exact thing that they're trying to do with this movie. Is just recreate the Holy Bible, and it is awful. It is so bad how they do it in this movie. It really is. Like, it is just beyond awful. Like, it's so obvious of what they're trying to do. Listen, a person who isn't even Catholic can even know what they're trying to do with this movie. Like, it is so obvious that they're retelling the Bible with this movie that it's just so painfully obvious. And he tried to hide it so much with metaphorical bullcrap that it's awful. Like, it is so awful. And everything that is just displayed onto screen is garbage. Just garbage. Oh yeah, listen, the first two acts are awful with this movie because nothing happens. Nothing happens in the first two acts of this movie. Really. It's just nothing but just random crap that just happens throughout the film. That's it. It's just random, metaphorical bullcrap. That's all it is in the first two acts. And then the third act comes along. I thought nothing was gonna beat the whole Bumblebee and Optimus Prime thing, scene from Transformers The Last Night. This whole third act beats that by a landslide. When this third act happened, I was like, what am I watching? This is not a movie. This is a dang Saturday morning cartoon at this point. They reach so much stupidity that literally it's just a bunch of nonsense. It's ridiculous. In this third act, just random crap happens. Nothing makes sense at all. You're just wondering, what is going on? Like, how is this even happening? And then there are just scenes that are in this movie that just pissed me off, honestly. They really did. They were making me so infuriated that I was like, wow. They actually thought that this was something good. They thought that this was going to be, a movie that everyone was going to go out and see, thinking, oh, this was so great. No, not at all. And the fact that people are trying to defend this movie baffles me anymore. Listen, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and that I understand that 100%. If you love this movie, great for you. I am just, great for you. If you love it, great. I'm not going to stop you from loving this movie. Love it all you want. I am not here to tell you that your opinion is invalidated or, you're wrong. That's just not me. That's just not how I am. It's not how I roll. So, if you like the movie, fine. But for me, I don't get it. I don't get how so many people are defending this movie. It is just nonsensical stuff. It is just nonsense, honestly. It's just a bunch of random crap thrown onto screen. With no substance, no structure, nothing. This is a mess of a movie. Seriously, this is beyond a mess of a film. Beyond a mess of a movie. The writing is just absolutely awful with this film. This is some atrocious writing. Like I said, the screenplay was written in 5 days. 5 days. And it definitely shows that this was written in 5 days. The dialogue between all the characters are just absolutely terrible. Like, just some of the stuff that these characters say, it's just baffling. Like, would anybody ever say this? Like, it's just baffling to me. Baffling. The directing is horrendous. I'm sorry, the directing, I know some people think it's really beautiful, the directing with this movie, but for me, it was horrendous. I hated the way that this movie was directed. It was so poorly directed. Yo, Michael Bay, I owe you an apology, okay? Because Michael Bay must have been like, I directed the worst movie of the year, and then here comes Darren Aronofsky, he's like, hold my beer, I'll be back. And he does such an awful job directing this movie. It is so poorly shot. The editing is not even that great, really. It's really not. The editing is pretty crap, honestly. And the cinematography isn't even that beautiful either. Like, it's so just black looking to me. Like, the cinematography isn't even that good. Yeah, he just does such an awful job directing this movie. It's so poorly directed. And lastly, this movie is so... You know what? This movie is so boring! This movie arguably could be the most boring film I have ever seen in my life. This and probably Battlefield Earth are like the most boring films I've ever seen. I have never in my life been so bored with the film. From the opening scene, I was immediately bored with this movie. Like, immediately. It just wouldn't end. It wouldn't end. It wouldn't end. It just kept going and going and going and going and making me drive more to my insanity. Like, I just could not believe. This movie is 2 hours and 1 minute, I believe. It felt like 4 hours. It would not end. This movie. It just wouldn't. It just kept going and going and going. It's like the movie was stabbing me. Dead serious. It was like it was slowly killing me. This movie, you know, I don't even want to talk about it anymore because the more I talk about it, the more I'm gonna get infuriated because that's how much this movie drove me insane and pissed me off. This movie is one of the worst things I have ever seen, ever. I can't believe it. We have found a movie that is worse than Transformers Last Night. We have found it, and it is this pile of horse. I usually don't curse, but it's driving me. This movie is driving me to just... This movie is the worst film of the year. This is... I did say that nothing was gonna beat Transformers, but this movie did it. It somehow did it. This movie somehow did it. It somehow did it. I cannot believe it. Now, if there's a movie that's worse than this... Dear Lord, I don't know if I'm gonna live. Like, if there is a movie that's worse than this, I don't know how. I don't know how I'm gonna live. So, you know what? F. I'm not even get F. F, 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 okay? This is terrible. This is awful. This movie's just... Mother is awful. Like I said, if you like the movie, cool for you. Cool for you. I respect your opinion, but for me, I was literally going insane while watching this movie, and I just was almost about to walk out numerous times. Mother gets an F. It's the worst movie I've seen all year, and I really highly seriously doubted that. If something beats this, I don't know how. So if you've seen Mother, what did you think of it? Leave in the comment section below. I'm FilmFan0599, and we'll see you all later. Peace.